Tonight, a new state law is giving Tennessee's juvenile judges a new set of tools to deal with kids committing crimes on our streets.
The just passed legislation is designed to address some of the critical breakdowns uncovered during NewsChannel 5's exclusive investigation of Tennessee's broken juvenile justice system. But as our chief investigative reporter Phil Williams discovered, the new law is not without controversy. Phil.
During our nearly 2-year investigation, we heard complaints about how difficult it was for judges to intervene with young offenders before they became violent. That's what this legislation just recently signed into law hopes to fix. Out on patrol with Nashville's Juvenile Crime Task Force, our cameras were there as officers apprehended a 17-year-old in a stolen car.
What's up? Oh, no.
Knowing that within 3 hours,
Here, let me open that up. See if, oh, here you go. That's a good one right there.
Oh, it is a ski mask. Look at that.
he'd be released from juvenile court.
He's going to be right back in our communities so he can steal another car and continue to commit crimes.
The law draws no distinction between stealing a candy bar and stealing a car.
That's absolutely true.
Davidson County Juvenile Court Administrator Kathy Sinbach noted that state law treated all property offenses exactly the same.
Under juvenile law, they are treated the same in terms of not being able to detain them.
A major point of contention for former juvenile prosecutor Jim Todd.
The first time a 12-year-old steals a car and is arrested with some crack cocaine, they're going to get sent home that night. The mother that wasn't watching him at 2 a.m. is going to get called and say, come get your kid, because by law in Tennessee, they can't be detained.
Members, this bill comes from my local chief of police and local juvenile court judge.
Under the newly passed legislation, juvenile judges would not only be able to hold kids arrested for a crime involving serious injury or death to a victim, now included burglary or theft of a motor vehicle.
We've had break-ins of stealing of weapons at gun stores in Gallatin and in Hendersonville.
Sumner County Judge David Howard pushed for the legislation after seeing kids stealing cars in his county, even leading police on long chases, knowing they'd probably get to go home as soon as they were caught.
And we need time to figure out what their prior history is. Have they had any prior adjudications as a delinquent? Where are their parents?
Some of the car thefts, there may be some issues as to safety of the community, particularly the ones that are stealing car by force or by using weapons. Yes.
But Davidson County Juvenile Judge Sheila Calloway worries that the law could be used to lock up kids accused of less serious offenses.
If there is just a property crime, then we're doing more harm when we hold children in detention.
I don't think that's good for the juveniles. I don't think it's good for the state of Tennessee.
Democrats raised questions about another provision that would give judges the option of locking up kids in local juvenile detention facilities after they've been found guilty. Previously, detention in local facilities was limited to 48 hours on non-school days. Otherwise, kids had to be put in the custody of the Department of Children's Services or sent to the adult system.
It gives judges the discretion to keep children in a detention facility for however long they see it's appropriate.
Months?
There's no guidelines in that bill, and so theoretically it could be years.
Number one, it's not talking about indefinite detention.
Judge Howard said he just needs another tool to try to get the attention of kids who think the juvenile justice system is a joke.
It's not looking at 30 days. I'd be happy with 7 days. I'd be happy with 10 days.
We're going backwards when we're locking them up without any type of formalized treatment and rehabilitation.
Judge Calloway argues that studies have shown putting kids behind bars without treatment only makes things worse.
It does not reduce crime. It does not help children to rehabilitate. It does not make our communities safer.
But Howard counters that a lot of communities did not feel safe under the old rules.
And in a system which is designed for decriminalization, you still have to have some idea of deterrence. Otherwise, then kids begin to figure out that the juvenile court really doesn't have a lot of power.
Our investigation also uncovered problems with kids essentially being kept in solitary confinement, sometimes for days on end. Now, a separate piece of legislation is also on its way to becoming law to reform those practices. Phil Williams, News Channel 5 Investigates.
Thank you, Phil. If you want to see our full Broken docuseries from our entire News Channel 5 Investigates team, you can watch right now on our streaming apps or at newschannel5.com/broken.